So, Liam, here we are
Yep, just
once again.
talking
A
about
very
YouTube.
controversial subject, absolutely. Is YouTube good for Ancient Warfare 3? I mean, do you want to have a go at answering that one first? Because my answer is very, very short and very, very negative.
Okay. Um, I guess my opinion kind of summarized is basically right now it paints a very inaccurate picture because I don't think there's people who play it as a focus. It's kind of just one of many games, and they can't invest a lot of their attention. But if people kind of shifted more effort into making good content about it, I think it would help the game a lot more. That's kind of my opinion.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right there, you know. And the thing is, I think Ancient Warfare 3 is like a majorly untapped resource. I think you think all these creatives out there you've got that do things in Minecraft and all the rest of it, that, you know, could get onto Ancient Warfare 3 and do some really quite impressive stuff. Yeah, that I'm sure their fans would absolutely love and adore. But I think because of the way it's been covered up to this point, you know, it's like a mobile app, isn't it? Almost, it's like it's just another
Yeah,
blocky game. Even like Ravenfield when that first started, that was just block men. It
that
looked
was
very
kind
similar.
of because I was looking through some of these playlists that I sent earlier the other day,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
some of the earliest videos about it just say something like "play as a tabs unit," which is, so and so
Yeah.
it conjures up a kind of an. I mean, maybe back then that could have been more accurate because I mean,
It probably was, because to be fair, let's be honest, Age of Warfare 3 didn't start in its current state. It did start as a pretty much a very simple block game, but it evolved fairly quickly. I would say in over 12 months, it went from being that to like the beginnings of something quite special. And the coverage didn't really change. And even now, where we have scripting and all these advanced maps, these things that like the company that play like their own game, the YouTubers still haven't like woken up and realised they're still trying to work out which key throws a grenade for crying out loud, you know. And
yeah,
it's absolutely heartbreaking because you look through their any of the major guys. I mean, let's be honest, Barron, James F. and Daly, isn't it really? Who you know, past,
yeah,
present, and future, really. If you look through their video playlists, it's all apart from James F. who's got like, a lot of varied content, but we'll talk about that later. It's all red and blue for Baron and Daly. It's all like red and blue, pretty much. Not on Daly's other channel. I know he's like Modern Warfare and all that. Not Modern Warfare, Men of War. Sorry, but if you look through like the channel he covers Age of Warfare 3 on it, a lot of it is just red and blue, and especially for Baron, it is almost exclusively red and blue. Any game with like red and blue characters, you know.
hmm
And it's all like it's just sort of treated like every game on there is like sort of treated with the same brush, really. So
yeah. Because I
yeah.
know before he did this, he was doing tabs, like that was his thing, and so I think he was trying
I
to
was at
kind of
Baron, sorry.
totally accurate battle simulator. That was his
No,
real kind of
we're talking about Baron or
yeah,
Daly. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
before Ancient
I'm,
Warfare
I'm not.
3.
I'm not the diehard followers of either of them, to be fair.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
mean,
Yeah, with
what, I
me,
mean, what?
Baron was the
Sorry.
person who introduced me to Ancient Warfare 3.
Oh, really?
hmm
Oh, okay. I like Baron initially. I found James Defy insufferable. Always did. I mean,
Yeah,
just because of the way he's a child entertainer, and that's fine. I know he's making money and he wants to do his own thing, and that's great. But if you're an adult, to watch James Defy is it's almost impossible. You know, I
it
can't do it.
it really is. And
But
if you play
Baron,
these
sorry.
games, if you play these games that he shows off as well, it's like you realize how much of a missed opportunity it is.
Oh, absolutely. But Baron, meanwhile, he's probably the most mature of the three. I mean, he comes across. I'm not sure if he's older than the other three, but he's the other two. Sorry, but he certainly sounds it, and the way he sort of presents himself as well. You know, it was the hope back in the day when he started covering Ancient Warfare 3. Because I had a little bit of dialogue with the guy. You know, the same way as I do daily, I suppose. And you know, I was suggesting him the good maps to go and play and look at and all that. But you know, even so, he was as bad as the others in that he had no idea about the game itself, how it worked, even the basic controls, he just completely clueless with. And as a result, you just got these videos of this guy just running around, completely missing the point of everything. And just making Ancient Warfare 3 look like another stupid Steam ripoff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you have to sort of balance the good and the bad because the front page or like the cover of the book really is you see that the YouTuber themselves is not going to put in the time to play the game
They should,
or
though,
get good
shouldn't
at
they,
it.
really?
So
Me and you would, wouldn't we, Liam? If we were YouTubers making like videos about games, we would, the kind of people we are, right? We would take the 5 minutes that's necessary to get to grips with the source material, right? You wouldn't just sort of load up.
I would think so.
I don't know. Let's say Command and Conquer. You don't play Command and Conquer like the old Command and Conquer games. You wouldn't just load them up, would you? Start saying, "Oh, look at this crazy! Look at these tanks down here. Oh, wow! How do I repair this structure or anything?" You would put the time in, right, to sort of familiarise yourself with the game, so you didn't like a complete jackass when you went to go and play it. But these guys don't do that. It's what I find really bizarre. They just sort of like they just load it up, hit the record button and feck around for a little bit, and that's it. I just find that completely strange. But unfortunately, that's the caliber of YouTuber we have covering the game. Because Baron, James, and Fine Daily, they're all the same. They're all cut from the same cloth in that regard. Not one of them is what you would call like a professional, like as me and you might see it.
I would say one of the upsides of it, well, actually, it's kind of this can have good and bad sides, but the coverage of the game, you can sort of, a silver lining is that it'll bring more people, more attention to the game.
It brings the wrong kind of people. Sorry, carry on.
The positive aspect of that is it might bring somebody who is willing to put more time into the game. Like their interest is piqued by the video, and they'll get the game and spend a lot of time with it and kind of join the community. But then the negative side is you'll also get, because obviously they do have target audiences, and the target audiences are fairly young.
And that's the problem.
Not going to invest a ton of time, maybe.
We need some more mature people in the player base, is what I feel like, and we do have them. You have me. I'm old as hell. Is it just me? No, I'm joking. Like yourself, you know what I mean. I'm not talking like you got to be an old man or anything, but I mean sort of like mid to late teenagers, early 20s, people that have been playing games for a while, that have like a creative vision and all that. What we have at the moment, the majority, if I had to guess, like the 97% of the people that play Age of Warfare 3 are probably below the age of 13, and as a result, you're not, the coverage we have at the moment, mature players aren't going to watch those videos because they wouldn't they wouldn't need to, would they? They wouldn't watch those sorts of channels. They'd be watching, proper channels. So
yeah,
the only silver lining I see is that it lines the developers' pockets because it gets people to buy the game, even if they are young and aren't really going to see the figure out how to use the game properly and do cool things with it. So there's that, I suppose, and he does need to eat the J&I, but they're not going to bring in anybody that we really need, because I really thought when we had the scripting update, it would usher in like a new era for Age of Warfare 3. I thought like people would start to realise, oh, hello, there's something going on with this game, and then you would get these like creatives come out of nowhere. People like Merijusa, for example. You would expect to see more of him. But it hasn't happened, and I sort of blame YouTube for that, because I feel like YouTube at this point is, and maybe for no fault of YouTube or the people that cover it, because like we said, the Age of Warfare 3 did start off as a very simple block game, but certainly I think it's just like permanently tarnished its image. So even if you are like a mature gamer and you see Age of Warfare 3 being advertised somewhere on your feed or whatever, you're going to be like, what? Why do I want to play that? That discount Ravenfield? No thanks.
Yeah, I think
and that's it.
I think going back to scripting, because in the old videos that these people would make is when Ancient Warfare 3 was being like heavily developed, and it still is getting frequent updates, but it was like rapidly changing form by the month, and so they would have videos like new tank update, or like this update has a minigun in it.
Yeah.
And but at this point, they've sort of, in their view, kind of used it for as much content as they can, and that's just how YouTube works, so I'm not criticizing them for it, but I think so they aren't really paying attention to the fact that the scripting update came along, and it's now more of a game engine, and and
that's the thing, that's what makes Daily really interesting, because we have quite a good dialogue with Daily. I quite like the guy, like Baron, he's definitely more easy to stomach than James is.
And he's like responsive to the comments as well, which is
absolutely
more than plenty of YouTubers.
Certainly. He doesn't know how to throw grenades, and actually I think he does now, but at one point he didn't know. But you gave him that map list, and he managed to sift through all those amazing maps and somehow land himself on one of the weakest.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you got it in that collection, Liam. You sabotaged this, mate. But he managed to find the dullest one in there, and you had all these like gems, all these
there
like
really
well developed,
maps, and then this one,
and he just
I could have misremembered it, or it just didn't age well with the updates. But yeah, watching the video, it's it's, I would say, the lower end of that collection. So if he just wants
Certainly,
to,
but how do you do that? Because all those thumbnails as well, all those good maps have got good thumbnails. You would think someone like Daly would be drawn to that, but he wasn't. And I find that really strange. Like, did he choose that crap map for a reason? Just because it was simple, like it kept in with the formula that he's been doing, where he loads up these, brainless maps. But then saying that, he doesn't always, does he? He's played a fair few of mine, and mine obviously aren't brainless. So I don't know. I just find it weird that he had that selection and somehow ended up on that one map that he really shouldn't have ended up on.
yeah,
Strange.
I think it could be, he has sort of a World Wars kind of thing that he does a lot, and probably seeing that thumbnail, which is the World War One era soldiers charging, he thought that would get him some
Do you
views.
think we should try and work with Daly? Do you think that's what we should do? Like, sort of start making maps that we think would appeal to him and his fan base. So, like, for example, World War maps. Do we start making high quality World War maps?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe-
the issue is it's really oversaturated in the game, and people just don't play them as much because it's almost like a stereotype with the D-Day maps. But I
Very
mean,
true.
these YouTubers could just talk to just one or two, I guess, like map makers in the community and just say, hey, in a week I would like to make a video about the Battle of the Somme or something. I don't know, whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
Seeing
then
if they did that, we could suggest, couldn't we? We could say, well, you could look at this map here or that map there.
Yeah.
I could even knock one up for him, I would have thought, in that amount of
Yeah,
time, but even so.
with enough advance warning, you just have a personal map maker.
But it's not like you could just directly contact these people, is it really? If you speak to, you
Yeah.
can talk to them in the comments and stuff, but we haven't really got that red telephone to sort of like, ring him up and say, oi,
Yeah.
for your next video, check this one out, would you? For crying out loud, we can't do that, so.
I mean, a long time ago, I went into Daly's Discord to suggest some things, and I just didn't. I think he probably just doesn't check it regularly, but I think the comments might be the best way to get in touch, at least with him.
I think, absolutely. Yeah, I would have thought. Well, you imagine if you're a YouTuber, even if you've got, I think he's got like a following of 30,000. How many?
I think he's at like 40,000 right now.
Yeah, 40,000. Yeah, even so, it means his Discord must have like at least like 1,000 people in there.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Do you know what I mean? Imagine going into a Discord and having like 1,000 people banging for your attention.
Yeah,
I think I would
I'm
avoid it
not,
after a while as well.
I'm not faulting him for that.
No, certainly not. But it's a shame because he's good and he's got the right attitude. And if we could just harness him somehow, like some sort of power.
It sounds so like cold
Yeah,
and detached. We're like, how can we use him to our benefit here?
I know, but to be fair, that's what he does to Age of Warfare 3. So,
And I mean,
he's
yeah,
got
I
it
mean,
coming.
what it really means when we say that is just kind of like, what can we do to improve this like livelihood of the game and stuff. It's not really.
No, Liam,
We're
I
not
want to
trying to use them
dissect
as
him.
pawns.
No, yeah, so that's absolutely, yeah. It would just be nice because, like I say, he's a good guy. He's got talent with what he does, and if we could just usher him in the right direction, when he wants to cover Age of Warfare 3 to sort of, we tried that and it somehow failed for that collection of yours.
Yeah,
But,
I just hope he looks at it again for his next videos.
Let's really hope, because I mean.
There was more than 100 maps in that, so if he wanted, it could supply him for a while. But I think even if just choosing to get a better or like a higher quality, I guess I don't really know what other phrase to use, but like a higher quality selection of things to show in their videos, it would help their YouTube channel as well, I think.
I think it certainly would, because the thing is, I mean, it's sort of like it's two-way advertising almost. I mean, by playing the better stuff, he's advertising Age of Warfare 3, which is great. But also by playing the better stuff, it's a more entertaining video.
Yeah.
So it's,
I mean,
it's
you can
helping
make
him,
it. There's
so.
two ways you can do it. Is you can make a joke, just I don't know, because you made some crazy shot or something, or you can make a joke about the map being completely broken and the units freaking out, which sometimes happen in these YouTube channels.
Yeah, less and less though. Now that Age of Warfare 3, let's be honest, the game has been in some very buggy states at certain points in its development. You only got to look at some of the videos made a year ago and you'll see the AI freezing up on the boats and things like that. So, I mean, maybe that's it as well, maybe like the game just through its sheer bugginess, defeated its own image,
It kind of scared them away, I think, is they played it for a while, but then they kind of hit a ceiling. But it's basically a completely different game now.
It certainly is, but I mean, I think if you look at Baron, for example, and James of Fire, I mean, James of Fire still does stuff of Age of Warfare 3, very rarely, but he makes his own maps and does these little narrative videos of his. And as much as I detest the guy because of just, again, nothing against him personally, but the way he presents himself, I just cannot. It's something just, I don't know, that just does not click with me.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely not advertised towards people for you or even me, so.
No, certainly not. But he's talented, he's creative. You look at the maps he makes and the things he does with them, the little narratives he builds. He's a talented guy when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
And in a way, I sort of think he's actually probably gotten to a point where he's probably the most positive influence on Age of Warfare 3. Because you think he does these videos where he sort of lies, where he injects those SCP monsters or whatever they are into them and things like that.
You know, how he does that.
No, me neither. I'm sure Jay and I would explain it to us if we asked him, but I dare not. But he does that, and obviously those videos get thousands and thousands of views, you know, and in a way it's false advertising, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that see these videos and think there's stuff in Age of Warfare 3 that actually doesn't exist, and they probably get the game for that reason, you know. So yeah, maybe he's the most positive influence in some form, because I mean, Daily. Yep.
At least he's using it as almost a game engine. Like he's not really.
You're right. He is, and you're right. In a roundabout way, he is. That's the weirdest thing, right? So as much as I detest the guy and the way he does things, he is actually using Age of Warfare 3 more or less in line of how we'd like it to be used.
Yeah.
And maybe
it is more open-ended. You can kind of do your own thing.
Yeah, that's it, absolutely. And maybe that's what we just need from someone like Daily, you know. It's just, I tell you what, forget about trying to harness the resource. Let's just make him play it for like an hour. That's just, you know, go play it, mate. Go have a good
do a live stream or something so we can all go in and give you some live help and feedback.
But if he plays it, he'll realise what it is, because I still don't think Daily understands what Age of Warfare 3 is, you know. I think he's only sort of skin deep in his engagement with the game, and I think if he just got a little bit deeper, he would realise, oh, hello, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a creative guy as well, isn't he? Doesn't he make all stuff with like a?
Yeah, I think he's.
Was it you said Modern Warfare, Men of War? Didn't he have like a series going or something like that?
Yeah, that was. I watched. I think most of that series. He had like a. I can't remember what it's called. Something Brigade, and it was like he basically created his own. Like tabletop game that he was running through Men of War, and it had some kind of advancing story depending on who won. So it was pretty cool. I mean, he's capable of a lot of cool things. I think
that's what I mean. Yeah,
3 is a good kind of engine for him.
I think it would be. Absolutely, it would be. I think you just got to realise it, though. Like I say, so I don't know if we have to go to his house and sort of like strap him down and you know. But yeah, that would be nice. But hey. So, I mean, because the thing is, the way things are going, I mean, we've got less coverage now than we had a year ago. The coverage we do have now is not really selling the game to the reality, and I don't really see the situation changing anytime soon. I don't think anyone's going to come out of the mist and be like, hey, look, I found this cool game, Age of Warfare 3, look what I've done. You know, I don't think we're going to get any of that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, you know, Daily for forever and ever and ever.
And it is also, like, it is sad that as the game kind of became better and more polished, the coverage it got declined at the same rate.
I wonder if that's connected, though. You know, I do wonder that. As it became less and less dumb, did it sort of like, you know, become less and less appealing to Baron and James of Fire?
I guess it becomes less of a gimmick and more of like something that you could actually invest a ton of time in, and they would. I feel like some YouTubers, and I'm not going to speak for all of them. And Daly has shown he's not like this, but some YouTubers would prefer to kind of jump between games to kind of keep people guessing and interested in what's going to come next.
No, you're right, and I think that's an interesting point, because if you look at the smaller channels that cover Age of Warfare 3, you know, our good friends from Mother Russia and from the South Pacific and all that, you know, their channels are much the same, as in they just dive in and out of these games, and these are the same sorts of games, you know, they're all like indie titles, they're all, your Ravenfields, your Age of Warfare 3s, your Tabs, your Rise of Liberties, those sorts of games, you know. And I guess that's just how things are. It's just a set template for how you approach YouTube. You just sort of like, you make a 10-minute video on this game and then that game and that game, and then you go back to a game, and I'm guessing that's how it is. Maybe you probably base it all on views as well. So maybe in Baron's case, Age of Warfare 3, but like with Daily, because you've got to think his videos don't draw in that many views compared to his other stuff. And maybe just from that alone, they just drop it because, what's the point of making a video when you can make about Age of Warfare 3 when you can make one about, I don't know, a Grand Theft Auto mod involving Barney the Dinosaur, and get twice as many views or something.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I guess a thing that we should clarify is that when we're talking about this is, like, it's not every game expects something from a YouTuber when they make a video about it. I think it's just that we have become so kind of invested in this game that we look at YouTubers and we see it as sort of an opportunity because right now the community is fairly small and a lot of things could be done to help the game and help the developer that YouTubers, pretty much only YouTubers, could provide, like that attention and new creativity.
Yeah, I guess we probably are coming off as sort of like spoilt, like brats here, haven't we?
Yeah, I just wanted.
God damn it!
I just wanted to clarify, the people over at like Ravenfield or something probably are behaving a little differently than the people of Ancient Warfare 3 when people make videos about them. Well, I suppose because they already have. I mean, their game is pretty much done. Or I could be wrong.
Yeah, it is, and it's been big for a while, Ravenfield. I mean, I can't remember what it was last I checked, but it was like 1 million sales, and that was a year ago or so. So
yeah,
Ravenfield's done very well for itself, and I think it was one of the first as well. It got there fairly early on, and I think it stood out from the get go. Whereas Ancient Warfare 3 was mundane and bland to begin with. It was put down a few block guys, press the play button. So
yeah,
he didn't have that same sort of leg up on the start. But the future is an unwritten thing, and maybe with time, I'm hoping with time, our community will grow a little bit bigger. Because it really is. You think the people that make all the good stuff, it's the same household names. We rarely get like new blood these days, do we?
Mm-hmm. And some people are leaving as well. Like
that's
that guy. I mean, Maradusa obviously is the one that we think about. I mean, he used to make these giant set pieces, and I haven't seen anything from him in a while.
He's still around. He keeps asking for scripting advice, so I think he's working on something quite big.
Okay,
again, someone like Maradusa, I think with him it's a matter of scale rather than time. He will take as long as he wants to make something that's massive, and I'm looking quite forward to whatever it is he comes up with.
And I think the sad thing about that when it comes to YouTube is that the really big projects, at least when they're campaigns, I mean, 'cause I don't even think Daily knows how to access campaigns at the moment.
Probably not. That's what I mean. It's another issue. Yeah,
it's a little demotivating for some people.
So good of the company, it will just never probably get that sort of coverage, which is a shame. Because if someone did cover it, it would just literally send a signal to the entire world that, oh, hello, Ancient Warfare 3 is a bit more serious than what we thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
All the voice acting, all the scripting, the triggers, all the effects that put into it, and suddenly someone will be like, oh, you can make your own game in this thing. And then bang, the view changes. It's not a block battle game anymore. It's a goddamn game engine.
Yeah.
So, which would draw in a completely different crowd to what we have now. And not to disparage the current crowd, I'll probably stop speaking like that, I love you all, Jay and I. Well, I don't. I mean, I do. I'm joking. No, you're all great, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just a lot older than the guys that are in that server. But it would be nice to have some cohorts of similar minds to myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think by saying we want a bigger community is not really dissing the current community. It's just there could be a lot more, and so
it's
that's
not. I quite enjoy the size of our community. It's not sort of making it bigger. Sorry, it's more about just there are these really creative people out there, and I find it really strange that I'm held up as one of the best people, or the best of Ancient Warfare 3. And I know for a fact that I'm not really, in the grand scheme of things, all that great. It's just because I found it, no one else has. So I'm certain the moment it opens up to sort of like a broader audience, I'll soon be knocked off the ladder, and people will be saying a year from now, "Who's Desert-Mammoth? It wasn't that guy that used to make those maps." Oh yeah, those really simple prefab maps. Yeah. And by then they'll be making like skyscrapers out of like, I don't know, safes. And
Well, I do think because you also have your own YouTube channel, and I think that's almost at like 500 subscribers right now. So
it is.
sort
And
of
I wish I had more time to dedicate to it.
yeah, a minor force on the YouTube scene. I think if you did in an alternate timeline where you became a more major YouTuber, that would also be.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I cover it exclusively, don't I? So the people that watch or subscribe to me and all that, they are Age of Warfare 3 people.
I think that already, like, you don't have to grow anymore. Like, you don't have to do any more YouTube because just what you've already done is, I mean, there's a huge number of faces and names, even in that comment sections, in those comment sections that I haven't seen before, and I assume I'm making stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean that's the thing of Age of Warfare 3. The JNI Discord is only a small sample of it, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, it's like 3%. I mean, there's a whole other culture on the Steam.
I think he said the other week that about 1,000 people play it a day, something like that.
Yeah,
which, although tiny in the grand scheme of things, you think there's about 10 of us in that server that are active, like consistently. You know, so
and the forums themselves too are pretty active, and almost nobody from the servers on those, so it's a completely different world.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, yeah. So as far as YouTube's concerned, I mean, it's not helping at the moment. I mean, not what we want currently. You know, the game's changed. People need to know it's changed.
Yeah, I guess.
But they won't for a while. But they will at least still bring in money for JNI. Who, let's not forget, you know, this is a part-time thing for him, isn't it? You know, he's got plans to, you know, I think he's finished university now, isn't he? But he was doing that and developing the game alongside it, and now he's trying to get a job, I believe. You know, and it's amazing what he's done with the thing. Yes, it's been a process, certainly, but
I think
you get these other guys. Sorry? I was just going to finish. I was just going to say that you get these other guys. You know, you got teams of 2, 3s, 4s. These other developers, where it's their full-time job, and their games, you know, progress at such a slow pace. And yet you got this one madman who's just like, you know, every spare minute of his day goes into Age of Warfare 3, and I would love above anything else for him to be realised, you know, or recognised. Sorry, you know. For us to be able to sort of say all that hard work, JNI, was not for nothing. You know, it's here's all the accolades, here's all the medals and the recognition you deserve. You know, I really want to see that happen because I do honestly feel like all the developers of these small indie games, he certainly earned something. But
yeah,
hey, I mean, I'm sure he's fine, but it's just what I would wish for him. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do you want to? I think if we've talked about basically everything, we could end with like saying, like, ideas or advice to improve the situation. If you have anything like that for the YouTubers specifically, like if any of them are watching this.
Yeah, so certainly. So I mean, my advice for YouTubers, if they happen to watch this for some reason, or you know, sort of stumble upon this somehow, will quite simply be to join the JNI Discord server. You can find the link for that, I believe, in the Age of Warfare 3 forums on Steam, and come and talk to us. You know, we're a small community. You can't really get lost, and ask us. You know, you want to do a video about a certain thing. You know, we can direct you to good maps that will really show off the game and also make a more entertaining experience for your viewers. Because I think that's the big thing. These guys, they don't know what they're looking for, or don't know how to navigate the workshop, which has become, you know, very watered down. You know, as more and more releases come out as the months go by.
On the average day, I mean, it depends if the YouTuber's looking at it on a day when a new map that somebody spent a month working on comes out, then they could play that map. But otherwise, I mean, the workshop could be featuring a bunch of maps somebody like slapped together in 30 seconds that'll make it look.
And that's another thing as well. If it was on the Discord, they would see these maps coming out. They would see people, you know, talk about the development. You think about Wisered. Is that how you say his name? I'm going to say Wisered.
Yeah, you can just say it however you want. I think it's fine.
You think, I know he's got a small channel, but he always times his videos when stuff's going on. You know, when he knows a map's come out recently or has been out for a few days or whatever. And he'll know he's got a baseline to jump off from because he's in the server. He sees what's going on. He knows what's been posted. What's the what's happening, and also it helps that he's got an understanding of the game itself as well. But yeah, so yeah, my advice really would be to just engage with the community. Simply, I say Discord is the easiest form for it, but I'm sure the Steam forums. I mean, yeah, goodness gracious, just reach out. We will help you.
And I think the server is also, there's a button that leads you directly to it from the main menu of Ancient Warfare 3.
Yeah, there was. I've never used it because I came in here like early days. But yeah, there certainly was, and probably still is. I would have thought it's still there on the main menu screen. Yeah.
Another reason to engage with the community too is we watch these videos and we see sometimes. You mentioned earlier he didn't know how to throw grenades. Like, we can also help you if you need that.
Absolutely, certainly. Because you put it on the comments of their videos and they won't always see it. I mean, they're busy people and all that, and
Yeah.
So you're sort of screaming into the void sometimes. But yeah, certainly there's a lot that they could benefit from just from like a 10-minute chat with us in the general chat topic, But
yeah, I think just the main theme really is that if you want to kind of have the maximum potential out of this game, and we're not going to force you or pressure you to do that, then engagement with the people who already play the game is important, because there is a sort of a time investment in Ancient Warfare 3, and these YouTubers don't make that investment, but the community does, and so we can kind of help if they want that. I think that's kind of the theme.
I think so. And you know what, Liam? I think we've just about covered everything we can here on this subject. I would say to our listeners, stay tuned for the next episode of Liam and Mammoth set the world to rights, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well catch you next time, Liam.
Yep, thanks for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. See you around.
See ya.